Then there was the first in the Hunger Games trilogy, where children are forced to fight to the death in a simulated arena, an idea we were very keen on to determine tonight's winners. But Mr. Tarantino was just a bit too keen on it. It seemed a little unhealthy. Most marvelously, though, the young shining star of the Hunger Games, the mesmeric Jennifer Lawrence, is with us tonight, hoping to bag a BAFTA for her simply sublime performance in Silver Linings Playbook. Now, Jennifer, I'm going to address you directly here. I'm sorry to pressure you, but last year a certain Brad Pitt, he was here, and he did us the great honour of blowing a kiss to our audience. It was a joyous moment that I replay in my mind often, and on YouTube even more often, in fact. It's a tradition we've started, and we'd just be delighted, Jennifer, if you would continue this year, right down the barrel of camera 9, if you'd be so lovely. Go on, blow a kiss. Hey, thank you.
Hutchison.
Good morning.
I really struggle with your name.
Everyone does.
And everyone bullies
It's
me.
not that hard. They say Hutcherson.
Oh, God.
There's no D.
He's the double S-ness, I think. The Josh.
Is Joshua easy?
Joshua Hutchinson. It's just, I don't know.
You see?
It's a real
Wow,
mess.
I never knew your name was complicated.
Yeah, I didn't
you
either.
as a man are very
I'm
It's
very
tough.
complicated
You're
person.
such a
Very
complicated guy.
That's right. That's right.
How are
actually
we all
not.
today? We all good?
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yes?
Great.
Yeah.
Liam,
good.
you're healthy. You
I'm
two
healthy.
not healthy.
They are not.
We've been on pretty strong antibiotics.
Yeah. You had an
We're
antibiotic
both
drip,
feeling.
didn't you?
I had a drip.
Oh, wow.
I had 2
Yeah.
drips.
I didn't.
Well, I
had
fainted.
pills.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
serious.
I passed out in the hallway.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a
took
tone
the
for 2 days.
I took the sickness to the utmost.
To the
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
I like that. Sort of Oscar level
Yeah,
sickness.
Josh and I had the
right.
same thing, so I had to beat him.
Always.
I was like, he's been in bed for 2 days? All right, watch this.
I got 2 drips each arm. Let's do it.
Well, when Josh came in, he was like, I can't touch you. I'm that sick.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. I just didn't want to have the chance of giving you any kind of sickness.
And I
It's a
also don't
courtesy.
want to get something again.
No.
I just don't
See,
want anyone
that's-
to touch me.
That's
And
so selfish. Sorry.
if somebody wants to give you a bug, let them give you a bug.
Exactly.
It's a nice gift. You survived this.
Yeah, you
Yes.
know, the other night I felt like I was getting sick. I started to get a bit of a sore throat and
But he's
kind of
always done
sweety
that.
skin. And
He always,
anytime
every
that
time
Jennifer
I'm
gets
sick.
sick,
I had
I
an
feel
ulcer
like I
once, and he
get
was
it
like,
as
my
well.
stomach hurts. I think I'm getting it.
I know I think it's just general support. You know, I don't want her to feel like the only one.
That's
But
nice.
Sympathy.
Yeah.
I've,
Nice
I've had a
being
mind
together.
over matter take on this whole thing, so I'm gonna beat
He's
it.
convinced. He was saying
Convinced
that his
that if
throat.
I
But he
keep-
was like, my throat's hurting. I'm getting sick. And I'm like, you're not getting sick. And then he thinks that he mind over mattered it, when
did.
really he just never got it.
No,
No,
I
I think
never
you mind
mattered.
over
I
mattered.
mind over
manipulative
mattered.
self-
I was
know,
definitely,
it's
I was
such a
definitely
Liam thing
starting
do,
to
be
get
like,
sick.
No, I was
Don't-
starting to get
this
sick,
is-
but I mind
I
over
was
mattered
starting
it.
to get sick, and I'm like,
I mind ninja'd it.
We should, first of all, I want to talk to you about this, Jennifer. I didn't bring you this cake because it's really, really creepy, but I want to know if you've seen this cake.
Oh my
I
God!
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I saw it.
I haven't
Look
seen
how
it.
weird
I
this
saw
is.
it. It's 5'11".
Yeah, someone's made a
Oh my
What?
God.
real
Yeah.
life Jennifer Lawrence cake.
Your waist
good
is
work
smaller.
to the person who did
Oh
that.
my
Just
God,
FYI.
Joshy.
Just so you know.
Do we know
I'm
how
just
long it
giving
took?
you-
It took her 2.5 months.
2.5 months.
I printed
Oh
off the
my
BBC
God.
News thing and I highlighted,
Whoa.
eating this cake is not recommended. Jennifer, talk to me about shooting this movie, because this was, after you've done the first two, you know that the third movie is going to be important and people are going to love it. How was going into the third filming? Was it full of pressure or excitement because you know the guys, or how was it for you?
It's always exciting because they're my best friends. So yeah, we always have a blast shooting these movies. And also the story, it was really different. You know, there weren't games this time. We're getting deeper into the war. There was just more to do. And my character just kind of starts out very stripped down and has totally lost herself and kind of has to rebuild. And so it was just kind of, it was exciting.
Yeah. Was there a favourite bit for you? Was there like one scene that you loved to do?
I don't know. I can't really tell the two
singing
movies
scene?
apart.
Singing scene? You
Yeah,
like
the
the
singing
singing
scene was
scene, didn't
definitely my.
I
No,
would
that
have
was
bring
the
that
most
up if we
traumatic.
could. Talk
Yeah, I
about-
know.
talk about that for a
Let's
little
talk
while.
about her most traumatic day on set.
Yeah,
No,
let's
that
talk
was
about your
awful.
worst
That's
day.
my biggest fear. I never, ever like singing, and I never want to sing in front of people. So that was terrible. So definitely wasn't that day.
She did
I don't know.
She did a
I have-
wonderful job, though.
Thank you, Vic.
You have a wonderful voice.
I
You have a
can't
new
tell the
folk
two
voice.
movies apart, so I can't really
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you what.
Can you watch The Hunger Games as a fan, Josh? Not
Fan
really.
Josh?
No,
Oh, as a fan. Comma,
Josh.
Josh.
Comma.
As a fan,
Josh
Josh.
Hashashan.
No.
You can't,
I
can
can't.
you?
I can't. I don't like watching myself in movies. for a lot of reasons, and so it's hard to kind of.
Totally know.
You totally know.
What you mean.
You hate watching me in movies.
Yeah, we hate it.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard to kind of be able to step away from the fact that your face is on the screen so big.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch it as an actual
I always
movie
like on
when you're
set. I'm always like,
yourself
no
is-
makeup. This needs to be raw. This needs to be real. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh
Why did
my god.
Let the snot fall out of my
I
nose.
really do. Yeah, no, I really do like love these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I love 'em.
After I've watched them, because the whole time I'm watching them, all I'm thinking about is what a troll and how untalented and awful I am. But then afterwards,
spirit,
I'm like,
Jennifer.
no, it's
Yeah.
a really good movie. I really
I like
them.
them. I just hate that I'm in them.
Yeah, if I
That's what
wasn't
it comes
in
down
them,
to.
I would love these
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
I'm the worst part of the whole franchise.
What about you, Lynn? Can you sit down and watch a Hunger Games?
No, I would totally. I mean, I would agree with what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's always tough to take yourself out of it and watch it as an entire film.
Liam, I wanted to talk to you about this film because it was a comforting role, but there was like extra fighting in it and stuff. Was that a fun role for you to do? Do you like the fighting?
Absolutely. Yeah, the physical stuff's always fun to do. I mean, it's when you do physical stunt stuff in films, it's very repetitive and you get beaten up a lot. And, at the same time, it's really fun and yeah, it was nice just coming to work with these people more so. Are you guys laughing about what I'm saying right now?
No, he tapped me.
Okay.
Did that
He
thing.
tapped you
tapped me
and
on
he
the
fell
shoulder
back
and
off the
then-
Is
thing.
there something
Yeah.
funny happening over here that
No,
I
no,
don't know
no. We're actually just not listening to you.
Yeah.
We're not
Okay.
laughing at
Everything you
anything.
said.
I'll give you
you're
a
saying.
point
We
if you
didn't
can
hear
got
it.
repeat
beat
one
up.
thing that he said.
He said doing stunts is fun because you get beat up.
Wow. Repetitive. You said something about repetitive.
Good job, guys.
You said something about repetitive.
Something about
Yeah.
repetitive.
Repetitive.
Something about repetitive.
Repetitive.
What if I knew that you guys were listening to me, I'd start getting self-conscious.
I never listened.
We've not been. Don't worry. Don't worry. Josh, there's a lot of like edge of your seat moments in this movie.
Yeah.
Did it feel a lot more tense and exciting when filming this one? What was the differences in filming Mockingjay Part 1?
Yeah, well, I mean, Peeta goes to a much darker place
Yes.
and is psychotic and thrashes around and loses his mind some, and that was a first for me on screen. I do it all the time in my personal life.
He's a big-time
Yeah, I'm a
thrasher.
big
Yeah.
thrasher, yeah.
He's a lunatic.
So I'm a raging lunatic. So for me, it was nice to get back to my roots and really
Yeah.
who I am and
Really
what I'm
just
about.
start
And
Yeah.
Thrashing.
I had a really hard time with the first two movies. I was playing a really nice, normal, calm person, and so to finally get to let out my true inner lunatic.
Yes, this is acting right
nice.
now.
Exactly,
You should have
this
seen
is-
him
yeah.
before we put the cameras on. He was a
Oh,
crazy
boy.
man.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
was like licking the walls
Yeah.
and stuff. It was really, really weird. And we should talk about Lord, because Lord did the soundtrack for this.
We should talk about Lord.
And that's amazing, isn't it? The
Yes.
soundtrack.
Yeah, it's
it's
so
really,
good.
really great.
Yeah.
she
She's
came on
incredible.
set. It was a huge deal.
Was it a
Yeah.
big deal?
Jim
Yeah.
was the most excited
Absolutely.
What
person
happened?
there.
What happens when Lord comes on set?
Everybody
was
goes
screaming.
quiet while at the same time tries to be cool.
Yes.
I completely fanned out. I just kept being like, "Is she here? Is she here? Is she here? She's here. Okay, cool. Yeah. Whatever."
Lord.
Got a picture with her. Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. She
Yeah,
gave me a
that
wet
was
willy
awesome.
once.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I really didn't know how to react to it, and I'm a big Lord fan.
What do you mean you didn't know how to react to it? You
Because
never wash your ear again. That's
Well,
how you
I just
react
sort of,
to it.
I did like kind of reaction, and then she walked off, and I didn't have time to say, oh, it was okay. I was like, because I didn't know who it was, and then it was Lord, and I was
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
so you're like,
oh,
thank you.
okay.
You went through a wet willy stage.
That's
And then
great.
that was it.
Phase when you
Oh
would give me
yeah,
wet
I would
willies all
give
the
you a
time.
lot of wet. Like,
Yeah.
well, only like I would give them to him at the premiere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Well, while we were watching the movie, because you were in the row right in front of me. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Leave you alone?
Not give me a wet willy.
There's
That'd be weird.
I think a wet
Yeah.
willy at the premiere tonight would
You
be...
would have thought we were fighting or
It
something.
will happen. It will happen.
We want to ask some questions from something that happened yesterday on Radio 1.
All
We
right.
went to a school for the best day ever, and we took over that school. So we have some questions from the people at that school.
Oh, cool.
Are you ready for those? We're going to
Cool.
play them off here. They recorded them. It was Tendring Technology College. The first question is from Lizzie. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Lizzie, and would you like to come to mine for dinner? And if you were to come round, what would you like?
I would
Chicken
like to. And
parmesan.
chicken
Ooh,
parmesan.
chicken
Yeah,
pot
that's
pie,
good.
chicken curry.
Oh, yeah.
If McDonald's you can manage would be great.
You
She got
just
cooked.
had McDonald's yesterday.
I
Are you
don't
already
care.
craving?
McDonald's
Do you remember that one time I was at your house and we had like a whole pizza, and then I stopped at McDonald's and got a double quarter pounder, and then I had to go pass out a food coma and had a ketchup packet stuck to my ass. I have a picture of
Yes,
it.
yes.
When Jennifer Lawrence is my favorite actress
While
of
we
all
were
time.
filming a
Yeah,
film called
yeah.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Great.
Lucy has a question for you, Jennifer.
My name's Lucy, and this is a question for Jennifer Lawrence. Why don't you have Twitter, and will you ever get it?
I will never get Twitter. I'm not very good on phones or technology. I can not really keep up with email, so the idea of Twitter is so unthinkable to me. I don't really understand what it is. It's like this weird enigma that people talk about, and it's fine. I respect that. But no, I'll never get a Twitter. And if you ever see a Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter that says it's me, it most certainly is not.
Oh, wow, that is a quote right there.
I had that one locked and loaded.
We finally had a serious answer
In the
throughout this
chamber.
entire interview.
Yeah.
Boom.
I know, and I really like laser focused. I didn't look at anybody. I like went into
Savannah'd
my
that
own
one, man. You
world.
Savannah'd
It's
it.
because the internet has scorned me so much
I know,
that I
I know.
feel like it's like that girl in high school that I'm like, oh, you want to talk about her? Yeah, I'll do that.
I feel like we could,
to take my hoops off. I'm ready to go.
because it is
This
the
is so
Hunger
much
Games,
better.
we
Yes.
came up with a really great game called The Hunger Game. Let me introduce you to
Hungry
Hungry
Hippos.
Game
cool.
Hippos.
This looks fun.
Yeah. Okay, so we all have a face.
It looks like
That's
Oh,
me.
I thought that was Sam Claflin.
You thought it was who? Sam
it was Jake
Claflin. We're
Gyllenhaal.
very
It
similar.
looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Very
I thought it was
similar.
Robert Downey Jr.
How do we?
Well, again, very similar.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Here we
gonna
go.
swap your
Wait, no,
faces.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. Faces swaps. We have them, and you're playing for some really serious stuff. You're playing for delicious British delicacies, okay?
Yum.
Okay,
Gross.
so whoever wins, they're all foul. The balls are going in. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos with the stars of the
Wait,
Hunger
wait,
Games.
wait.
Wait!
There is no white and hungry hippos, guys.
I got it!
No!
Damn it!
Yeah.
Liam's won.
Yes!
God damn it.
I got a yellow one, though. Does that count as 5?
I don't know. What's the deals with the yellow? Yeah. Okay, Josh wins.
Well, can
so
we
Josh.
just-
God,
let's
you
wait a
actually
second.
know the rules
It's a
like
money
Hungry
ball.
Hippo?
It's a money ball.
It's the money ball.
It's the golden
The yellow's
ticket.
the winner.
All you have to do is
Oh my
get
God,
the yellow
Liam's
one.
No, no.
Yeah, I
get
think
like
so.
40. I got
1,
40.
2,
Okay,
3, 4,
Liam.
5.
I mean, Josh, you have
know.
won the British delicacy to
Can't be the
enjoy
rule. That can't
throughout
be
your
the rule.
press
Let me see
day.
this.
You have won pork scratchings.
Pork scratch.
They are delicious.
What the hell are those?
They are the most
You're gonna
delicious
love
things.
these, Josh.
Oh, wait,
because
these
they look
are-
like a
what are those
redneck
called?
delicacy.
Oh,
How do you
they're
like
called
that?
something else in America.
Oh, is this real meat?
Yeah,
That's like puffed pork,
it's
man.
like dried
It's a
pork
dog
fat.
treat.
Oh my
You
God,
just gave
it
me dog
smells
treats.
and tastes just like a dog treat.
Those are dog
It's not
treats.
good.
I'm surprised you
Do you want to play for? Oh wow, they really stink.
I thought it was gonna be like a Funyun or something.
Oh,
Are we
no.
doing another round? There's another
We're
round?
gonna have another round.
smells
Yeah,
like-
get your
great.
balls in the
Oh.
thing.
Hey, put your balls out
Okay.
here.
Get your balls
I hate
out.
this game,
Okay.
and I hate
balls
you.
away.
Okay. Are we ready to go
Stink.
again?
Your balls.
No. The yellow one is right in front of Josh.
No, it's not. I moved it, so
Can we
it's not.
let's put those somewhere else?
Let's get rid of the pork scratchings.
Hang
Ian.
on, my hippos
I think it's fair.
Now it's right in front of
Okay.
You
yours.
just have to get the yellow one. There's
I
no
think it's
point in
only
even.
fair if it's more.
Josh's hippos broke.
hippos.
Okay, too late. 3, 2, 1, go.
Damn it, he got the yellow one.
See, what's the point? You've already got the yellow one. I'm not going to continue
game
once you've got
sucks.
the
This
yellow
game sucks.
Oh, I got the yellow. Look.
How did you
Well,
get the
Josh,
yellow
this
again? I
time-
watched it go into the green one.
I watched
I
it.
took it out of his little. I took it out of his little canister.
This time, Josh, you have won this gift.
I'm not
which
taking any
is-
more of your gifts, man. These things are disgusting.
I wouldn't eat it right now. This is
Is
black
that black
pudding.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like
Oh.
It's
God.
again.
It looks like
very
something that they
delicious
find
snack.
at
I
the
was
border.
like, it looks
Dried
like
blood.
poop, but it's worse. It's a blood clot.
You gave me a blood clot and dog treats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
officially worse.
So
than
happy I
poop.
won.
That
Great.
is black pudding right there. Do you want to have another game?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have one more
All right,
game.
all
Come on. Because
Really?
the next up is
I was
the
just gonna
next
do
one
a
is actually
soundbite of
delicious.
BBC One. I hate you.
Jennifer, seriously, the next thing we're playing for is good. I'd eat it right now. Okay, last one. This is a good
Mine
one.
still doesn't work, but
Oh, there he goes. Okay,
If I
3,
don't win, I'm going to my room for
2,
the rest of the
1,
day.
go.
yes! Oh, you got the yellow.
Oh, Liam, you are a winner.
Well, I
You're a
really won.
big winner of some spotted dick.
Wait, what's it
Have you ever
called?
had that before?
Spotted
This
dick.
actually,
Of
this
course
is like
he has.
I had that
It's his
once,
favorite.
but I had to get ointment for it.
dick.
Last time I had that, I went to the doctor.
Oh, no, you don't have to go to the doctor. It's
Does it
delicious.
have
Better
Spotted
watch
dick?
it,
Wow.
Liam.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
send
actually
yourself a new
delicious.
nickname.
Oh, it's a dessert.
Yeah, it's a dessert.
It's not a
So
meat.
enjoy your
A
spotted
meat
dick.
flavored product. That's cool.
Enjoy your spotted dick.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
In fact, you've all got a gift: spotted dick, some black pudding, and some pork scratchings.
Thanks.
Wow,
Dog
this
treats.
has been
Thanks.
absolutely awful.
Great.
It's not going to get better than that. Josh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Jennifer, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you for
Thanks very
having
much.
us.
Bye.
You looked completely shell-shocked when your name was announced.
And the Oscar goes to Jennifer Lawrence. Silver Linings Playbook.
Well, yeah. I feel like I can't even remember it. That's just kind of an insane moment. And it was just really exciting. It was just really just shocking. I think that's the first time I think I've ever felt like actual shock.
We can see it. I hope you got a fan here.
would just try not to. I love Ginger.
Oh my god, thank you. I loved all your movies. Oh really? Do I look like a new girlfriend?
I thought about
it. Is he still here?
I'll be waiting.
Oh my god! I need a rear view mirror.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are you going to remember about tonight? I think it is. Had you met him before?
No. Hey! I know Jennifer Creditor. She's really nice. Hi. Yeah, this is my life now. Hey, Jack. Hey, Jennifer. How are you?
Jennifer Lawrence is taking a year off from acting. It's true. The news comes from a very credible source. Famed producer and Hollywood bigwig Harvey Weinstein, who worked with Jen on Silver Linings Playbook, revealed the news that she will be taking a break for 1 year. He told the Sun on Sunday newspaper, quote, "She's going to have a long break for a year where she won't do anything. It's been non-stop for her and she deserves a rest." True, the breakout star has done 8 films in the past 12 months. That is practically unheard of, especially for such a newer actress. Harvey defended her decision not to attend the BAFTA ceremony recently, despite receiving an award for American Hustle. Quote, "Jennifer is too nice and will do people favors and agrees to do a movie like American Hustle when she could have had a rest. She signed on to do Hunger Games when she was young and wouldn't have realized how much it would dominate her life. But she's a professional and always will be." And as we previously reported, Jen and her boyfriend Nicholas Hoult are house hunting in the UK, and she will likely spend her time off there. For the very latest, stick with HollyScoop.com.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News and day 2 of this special run of all viewer question episodes while I'm away on a personal vacation through February 26th. So, the first question of the day is from Oren Cohen, and Oren says, "Hey Grace, when I filled out the Oscar poll this year," he's talking about Beyond the Trailers Oscar poll, which if you yourself would like to participate, I've put a link below in the video description. But Oren says, "While I was filling it out, I thought about the Best Main Actress category, and I had to write in Jennifer Lawrence for The Hunger Games 2 Catching Fire. If Sigourney Weaver was nominated for Aliens actually, the second film for Ellen Ripley, and Johnny Depp was nominated for Jack Sparrow, Oren says, I want Jennifer Lawrence to at least be nominated for this role of Katniss. Do you think the Academy will, or even can, return to these kind of nominees?" Good question, Oren, and I think ones that a lot of people have these days with so many favorite characters in these big blockbusters. And I think to her credit, Jennifer Lawrence is a big part of why this franchise is so successful, The Hunger Games. Not only are people enjoying seeing their favorite books adapted for the big screen, but I think she's become a very likable actress with a very large fan base, and people do go to see her. I think she is a draw, and also over in X-Men as well. I mean, she is just right now at the heart of a perfect storm of movie stardom. So that's great for her. However, I have to say that in the role itself, I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is really doing anything new here, and that's why she's not getting nominated. Now, I think the Academy still is game to nominate these kind of performances in blockbuster films. Johnny Depp, recent nomination. Also, of course, Heath Ledger was a win for The Dark Knight for the Joker. I think his, having passed away played into that somewhat, because usually the Academy is reluctant to actually give wins here. But of course, Heath Ledger's performance there was so iconic, so special, that I think he would have won either way. And his family did mention that he kind of knew that he was doing something that special with the role. Likewise with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp changed, also helped to contribute to the change of blockbuster films and their quality, the level of quality. Both Heath Ledger and Johnny Depp, I think, have brought that in there. I think they both made it okay for serious actors to act in these franchises and to do great work, to try and challenge themselves and bring their own ideas to their characters. Both of them did that with with the Joker and Jack Sparrow, as opposed to this is just a paycheck movie, I can just phone it in here. For instance, Tommy Lee Jones is a great actor, but I think clearly from the way he did Two-Face, of course Joel Schumacher contributed to that, disaster, but I don't think that, Tommy Lee Jones approached that role the same way he would perhaps a smaller film or a more artistically credible film at the time. So both those actors, I think, Heath Ledger and Johnny Depp, made these films more, have more credibility as art. Now, when you think about those, when you compare Jennifer Lawrence's performance to those two roles, I think you don't see that. Even when you go back to Sigourney Weaver, that was very new for female action heroes at the time. She started a whole trend, and she opened the door for all the female action heroes who have come after her. And I think there were a lot of great psychological aspects going on to her character, Ellen Ripley, in Aliens as well, which I think helped her get that nomination, because she wasn't nominated for the first movie. I think that playing off the mother aspect, which is a pet peeve of mine, though, by the way, as many of you know, always saddling female characters with family issues. Sometimes male characters have the same situation, but that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, that those psychological aspects were brought in, the passing of her own children because she had been lost in that, frozen in time, in her space travels, and how that had her with Newt, I believe that was the girl's name, how that factored in there, the loss of her own children. So I think there was a lot going on there. And of course, again, I think the Academy realized that Sigourney Weaver was doing something special there and deserved to be nominated. But Jennifer Lawrence, even though she is so responsible for the success of the Hunger Games franchise, I think on screen, she's not really, breaking new ground. She's not, furthering the kind of roles that women will get going forward. And I don't think it's necessarily all Jennifer Lawrence's fault. I think the role of Katniss is a very passive role. It's a reactionary role. Katniss reacts to things that are done to her. She's rarely, intentionally the catalyst for any events going on. She actually, says, I don't want to play this part, but she's just forced into it anyway, finds herself there. She's a pawn. And that's not any fault of Jennifer Lawrence's or even the source material. That's the way it's written, and it's about, the power of pawns and what it means to be a pawn, what it's like to just be, manipulated by other people for their own means, even if it is for the greater good. Which is all very interesting, but at the same time, it doesn't really give Jennifer Lawrence the kind of meaty role that would allow her to create something that's worthy of being nominated for an Oscar. So I think we can take heart that with the Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp and Heath Ledger Joker nominations, the Academy is still open to these kind of, considering these roles, but you really have to do something special with it. And I just think, Oren, I'm so happy that you like Jennifer Lawrence in the role enough to write her name down as a write-in in the BTT Oscar poll, but I think at large, I just don't think that there's any Oscar momentum there. All right, so that's the first question of the day. The second is from Matt, because thanks for signing it, Matt, because your handle is like Epson ABCDEFG. So it would have been very hard to keep referencing that. So Matt says, question, greetings from the UK, recent viewer. Awesome, welcome, Matt. Recent questioner as well. Awesome. My question is, do you think it is right for actors to only be remembered for one role, regardless of how iconic it was? For instance, when I was watching Thor: The Dark World, I couldn't shake the image of Christopher Ecclesian, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as Doctor Who out of my head. It was a little annoying, especially as he was only in it for one series 9 years ago, and has done plenty of other critically acclaimed roles before and since. So Matt's wondering, why is this happening, and why is it really fair to the actors? Now, the reason I like this question is because I think a lot of people wonder about it, but also it reminds me of David Schwimmer, who of course became famous for playing Ross on Friends. And he made quite a fuss after Friends ended that nobody saw him as anything but Ross. And he felt it was really hurting his career, getting other roles, and he felt it had become a negative thing for him. And I really thought that, I resented that at the time when David Schwimmer was making these very vocal complaints, because when you think of all the actors, all the members of SAG, who never get to practice their craft on that broad of a level, on TV or in film, never really make it, any actor should just consider themselves lucky to get a role that is so beloved by audiences. Acting is one of the most difficult professions out there. You have very little control over it yourself. I mean, some people become talented behind the camera as writer-directors to almost give themselves that first big break. Brett Marling, for instance, is doing that recently. Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, that's how they got into being able to make movies. They gave themselves a part. They cast themselves. So that's one route. But in general, it's very difficult for actors to break in because they need to be picked. Someone needs to pick them. They have no power over whether or not they make it. So if an actor is fortunate enough to get picked and land a role that is just becomes iconic, that's just great, and that's their contribution to the world of entertainment. Good for them, and they should never become bitter over it. I think it's horrible that Alec Guinness was so bitter over being Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that's what most people ended up remembering him as. He should be happy that he was able to contribute to something that became such a cultural phenomenon and brought so many people so much joy. So you really have to ask yourself, why are you becoming an actor? And if you're not becoming an actor to entertain people and give them joy, don't go into mainstream entertainment, because that's the purpose of mainstream entertainment. Stick to the smaller independent films and the theater, because that's where you should belong. So I don't know. I'm sure I have no idea if Christopher Ecclesian feels bad about this at all, but I think he should be happy that he played Doctor Who, and that's really the thing that keeps him on any casting director's radar. People being like, well, hey, people liked him as Doctor Who, maybe we can use him as this. Although I do think it keeps him from getting anything maybe really major going forward, because he's already Doctor Who. Benedict Cumberbatch is suffering from that a little bit as well, is that he's already so iconically Sherlock. I'm going to talk about Sherlock in the third viewer question. But so anyway, that's why that happens. And also, if someone's just so good in a role, look at Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's maybe a little bit fortunate to be playing Mystique and Katniss at the same time, so that people don't really see. I don't think she really disappears into either role, though. That's kind of like the negative aspect of that. I think Jennifer Lawrence, when I see her in either role, she's Jennifer Lawrence, playing Katniss or playing Mystique. I don't, she isn't that character. Not quite like Harrison Ford is Han Solo, and interestingly was able to also become Indiana Jones. I think he's one of the few actors to pull off multiple iconic roles. But Daniel Craig, for instance, he struggled for most of his entire career, and he should be so happy that he got to be James Bond, and many people's favorite James Bond, and he will probably always be James Bond to many of those people. But, it's allowed him to reach a level of success that he otherwise would not have reached, I don't think. All right, so that's my answer to your question, Matt. I hope that was helpful. All right, so the third question, this is just, not quite with movies, but I get asked a lot about my thoughts on TV, so I thought I would answer it during this run of viewer questions. And DJ Hernandez says, question, Grace, if you're collecting questions, I am, can you please tell us your top 5 TV shows on TV now? We all know the quality of TV has gotten a lot better these days, and that's how we're going to cheat and tie this into film. And I would love to, because it's affecting film and stealing audience members from it, and I would love to know what your favorite shows are on TV right now. Thanks, Grace. Smiley face. All right, DJ, let's play. And I cheated a little bit here, because there's so much good stuff on TV now. I've grouped it a little bit by, by network. All right, so let's start out, as I said, Sherlock. I mentioned Sherlock. I think that PBS, which is airing those shows in the United States right now, Downton Abbey and Sherlock, kind of like a 1-2 punch, their Sunday night lineup, drawing in more viewers than ever before to PBS. PBS is actually starting to run like branding commercials on their network, like a real network, which I think is fascinating to see them develop into an actual ratings contender, new ground for PBS. But really, 2 wonderful shows, and really just shows why BBC is such a powerhouse itself and has been way before the United States in terms of the quality of their television. Both shows are very well written, very smart, and also, they play with length, and also they don't run for as long as an American series, which I also think is interesting. Although cable TV is, I think, taking its cues from the BBC programming. And forgive me if one of these airs on ITV, I apologize. But we all think of it as BBC. So anyway, I think both Sherlock and Downton Abbey have been on fire. I'm still enjoying both immensely. And you're seeing some of that talent pop up in other places as well. But, they are really, they're very much a slave to these successes. They said they wanted to make Sherlock for as long as Cumberbatch would make it. I hope he never gives up. I think the episodes have been phenomenal. Even that wedding episode recently, which I thought was going to be really ho-hum, turned to be really brilliant bit of writing. I really do respect writing. All right, so the second group of television shows I like is over on HBO. I actually have 2 sets of things from HBO, but I'm categorizing them because they're so different in tone. So this grouping is True Detective and Game of Thrones. I think they're both really awesome, amazing shows that have the quality of a film. I think that is these other shows that I'm talking about seem like TV shows, but I think Game of Thrones and True Detective operate on the level of film, and I think as a result have a fan base, at the level of that a movie or movie franchise would. I think both are excellent. They have top-notch production values, which I think also really helps both of them. And I think on True Detective, you're looking at some really great, acting, very artiste. I think you're really seeing, actors being allowed to strut their stuff, both Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, who is very underrated as an actor. He's very good. And then over on Game of Thrones, you have a great amount of spectacle, very clever writing, a great, large cast, whereas True Detective really boils down to just 2 actors playing off of each other. But Game of Thrones has a very large cast where I think everybody contributes and does a very good job. Great show, really in a class by itself, actually. So I'm sorry I paired it with True Detective. All right, and also on HBO, I really wanted to give a shout out to Veep. I love Veep. I think Veep is a phenomenal show. I picked it over Girls, actually, and didn't pair it with Girls because I think Girls is losing its way a little bit. I think it's focusing too much on trying to be titillating, both in terms of the nudity, which has become a big subject matter, but also I feel with its trying to make its characters unlikable, I think it's really not going anywhere. I think maybe Girls might have bought a little bit into its own, too much into its own hype. Am I still watching it? Yes, but I feel I'm one of the few people holding on. But Veep is a wonderful show, a great performance by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Talk about an actress who's been able to play multiple roles. You know, people have been talking about that she was Elaine on Seinfeld, she was Christina in The New Adventures of Old Christine, and now she's, this character on Veep, Selena Meyer, who just does such a wonderful job that Julia Louis-Dreyfus has been one of those few actresses to be able to play all these different roles and be seen individually and not just be like, hey, it's Elaine as vice president. I think the show is phenomenal. I think that it's a great example. I love the fashions, by the way, that she wears. I know it's a very girly response, but I think that the costume design on this show is so great because it allows Julia Louis-Dreyfus to look really pretty, but at the same time be taken seriously in a business environment. It's very hard to do. Any woman who's tried to shop for clothes to wear to work knows this, I think, that it's so hard to find clothes that are not trying too hard to be sexy or you won't be taken seriously in, but at the same time you still want to look attractive. So I love the clothing on Veep, and they don't really talk about who does the clothing, but I've made it a personal goal of mine to start researching that when I get back from vacation. And also it's a great example of women in the workplace. She's fully functioning, but also with problems as well as successes. And I really like showing her, a woman is the boss, but, not like wanting to, not like in a sexy way, but just in a real way. And so I really like that show for those reasons. I think it's phenomenally good. All right, so the other two shows, I have 5, so that's the first 3. Then also AMC, of course, obviously Breaking Bad has been iconic. Mad Men, that will be interesting to see what happens to. I'm not a big fan of The Walking Dead, that's why I didn't group it in here. I don't like zombies. The Walking Dead's a little slow for me. I just never have gotten into that. But I did like Breaking Bad quite a bit, and of course I'm a big Mad Men fan. I think it's time for Mad Men to end, just as it was time for Breaking Bad to end. I actually like this new trend of shows ending because it becomes a big deal, they can be wrapped up properly, and I think because the creators are in on the decision to end the show, instead of it being a negative thing where they're like, we got canceled, who cares anymore, they're able to craft a really fascinating ending that reflects on the show. Like, I'm excited what Mad Men might do. I'm hoping maybe there will even be a time jump where we can see what happens to these characters way beyond the 60s and maybe even the 70s or 80s. I would be really curious to know what happens to them. But anyway, I think that's great programming over there, and I really like what AMC is doing. And they are one of the, they really gave HBO a run for their money, and of course, we all benefit from tough competition as viewers. All right, so the other show I really like is Justified. I'm going to have to say, Justified, I almost stopped watching it this season, but Michael Rappaport is doing a fantastic job as this really crazy Southern villain. His accent, I love it, but yet he's able to show real menace, even though he's kind of usually a goofy actor. I love Walton Goggins on the show. Timothy Olyphant is fantastic. Another example of great writing, very clever writing. A lot of their characters are very loquacious, but yet it never gets old or seems forced. They really do a good job keeping it fresh. And every time I think I've gotten tired of the show, they find a new plot twist or a new character to get me interested again. Now, of course, Justified is also, I think, going to be coming to an end on the next season. I'll be interested to see how they wrap that up. But it's really been a great bit of television. And if you're ever looking for a show, and if you're like, oh, I don't really like anything that's on right now, I would tell you it's worth your time to get into Justified. You can work your way through the seasons. It's a very good example of FX programming, which I think they haven't quite matched. The Americans is okay, but I think it's spotty. It's not as solid as Justified. Really great show. And in the spirit of Elmore Leonard, by the way, perhaps maybe the best adaptation of Elmore Leonard's work to date, which again benefited from the TV structure because it had time to explore those characters the way an Elmore Leonard novel would. All right, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm recording all these viewer question episodes on the same day. So, all right. So I hope you'll tune in for the rest of this run, again, through February 26th. Everybody, thank you for your questions. Oren, Matt, and DJ. And tomorrow, maybe your question will be answered. Thanks for watching. Bye.